always an exciting time of year because I think that you get through the preseason. We had a good preseason, played well, and won all of our football games. And, winning becomes a habit. We created that in preseason, so hopefully we can carry it on in the regular season. But I'm excited about it. We always, like I said, this is an exciting time. I think Teddy will come in and do a nice job at the quarterback position, and we got good people around him and got some playing time. And then defensively, we got better. I think George did a tremendous job this offseason in the draft, as well as free agency, and filling some holes that we did have to have some depth. And so we're very fortunate that we got a good football team that has some depth with youth. And, now we get to go watch and hopefully they execute and go win some football games. You say, well, if we make the playoff, it's a successful year or whatnot. But I think the mentality that we've always had with the Broncos and here with Mr. Bolin was to strive for the best and strive to be world champions. And I think that's kind of what the goal is going in. When I played, I never went in and looked at each game because I thought we could win every game. You just didn't know which ones you weren't going to win. But we always thought going into the season, you could win every one if we go play like we're capable of.
The Broncos' pursuit for the playoffs begins in just 5 days as they make their way to the Meadowlands for their Week 1 matchup against the New York Giants. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the UCL Training Center for Broncos Country Connected. I'm Alexis Perry. Like you heard John Elway mention, the Denver Broncos head into the 2021 season with more depth than we've seen in recent years, thanks to the addition of 16 players that were not with the club in any capacity in 2020. Of Denver's 10 draft picks this year, 8 made the team, along with 5 veteran free agents and 2 trade acquisitions. A hat-tipped outside linebacker Andre Mentz, who is the 17th rookie college free agent in the last 18 years to make the 53-man roster after an impressive camp as well. While the Broncos are stacked with new young talent at every position, it will be up to the veterans of this team to set the tone for this season. For this week's Player Spotlight, we check in with Broncos safety Justin Simmons, who was primed to help this team make its first postseason appearance since he was drafted by the Broncos in 2016.
At free safety from Boston College, number 31, Justin Simmons.
Home run ball that should be picked. It is! He'll be hit and sacked. That is Justin Simmons.
If I had to describe my game in just one word, I think the word I would use is intelligent.
We riding with you all the way, OJ. Let's keep riding. Come on, y'all. Let's get off. Hey, keep that momentum. Let's get off. Let's get off.
Being kind of the quarterback of the defense, it takes a lot of studying film. It takes a lot of connecting with your teammates, understanding what guys like, what they don't like, what our game plan is, and obviously understanding the offensive skill set as well. So intelligence is the word I would use. Go from Pop Warner to high school to college to the pros, there's always room to grow. And that's just what I love the most about it, especially at the safety position, constantly learning offenses, the flow of the game, routes, formations, things like that, tendencies. I mean, that to me is the fun part, the game within the game. That's just one of the many reasons why I love the game of football. If I had to pick just one play to say was my greatest moment as a Bronco, it's a tie. It's a tie. I'm not a tie guy, so I hate to say a tie. But there's 2 plays that pop into my mind. One, the first one is my rookie year. We were playing the Saints in New Orleans.
Now a very important extra point. Snap, Broncos jump over the ball, and they block the extra point, and it's picked up. Denver's running down the field. Parks into the end zone, a 2-point conversion. And it was Justin Simmons, another rookie who jumped over the center and blocked the extra point.
The second would have been just this past season when we were playing the Dolphins at home, and I had the game-winning interception.
Denver with a 5-man rush, steps in the pocket, throws the ball to the end zone. Pass is going to be intercepted by Justin Simmons in the end zone. 4th interception of the season, his 15th of his career. None bigger than that one with 63 seconds left.
It was really just great execution across the board. I mean, our rush was great, the coverage was great, and I was able to make a play there at the end. And so those 2 were probably my 2 most memorable moments. Some of my favorite hobbies include, gaming. I love gaming, and there's a whole awesome community of people that I've gotten to meet over the years. Shout out to the Simmies. Another is just I love hanging out with my family. My daughter likes to draw, so we'll do stuff in the driveway. She has a creative mind. She's really getting into gymnastics, so we'll do all that stuff. So those are probably two of my favorite things that I get to do in my off time. The Justin Simmons Foundation is, extremely close to both mine and my wife's heart. Last year with COVID was a tough space to navigate. We couldn't do any in-person events, no galas or anything like that, and so that's the biggest thing this year. Is we're really looking forward to hosting events in person, getting to meet people that want to support the vision that Justin Simmons Foundation has, which is empowering our youth. That's something that I'm just really looking forward to, is just having in-person events this year and just slowly watching this thing build over the years as they come. My favorite quote is, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve." That's something that I've heard since I was little, and I'm a firm believer in it. The mind is so powerful, and you can speak into existence a lot of things as long as you believe it. And so many blessings have come in my life just off of, that type of mindset and that saying. So very thankful for it. My mindset for this 2021 season is playoffs. Personal accolades will come, but that's really just where my mindset is. Get back to winning the division, getting into the playoffs, and getting back to the Super Bowl. That's really all I'm focused on is team success.
Coming up after the break, regular season football is finally here. Lionel Bienvenu, Troy Rank, and Ryan Harris will preview Game 1 against the G-Men next.
Broncos Country Connected is presented by Carpet Mill Outlets. Bigger discounts, better selections.
Welcome back to Broncos Country Connected. The wait is finally over. Week 1 of the regular season is here as the Broncos hit the road to East Rutherford to face the New York Giants. For what you can expect this Sunday, let's check in with the Denver 7 crew. Here's Lionel Bienvenu.
Thank you, Alexis, and welcome to our Denver 7 segment brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Well, as always, I got Broncos insider Troy Rank here and Super Bowl 50 champion Ryan Harris in the house. All right, guys, it is game week. Finally, there's nothing better than the anticipation, the excitement of looking ahead to week 1. Expectations are high. Optimism is in the air. Everybody's even right now. Everybody's undefeated. But, Troy, for the Broncos to stay undefeated after week 1, Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to prove them right when they named him QB1.
Yeah, they named him QB1, Lionel, because they trust him. They trust his leadership. They love the fact that he's calmer than a lagoon, that if the alarms are blaring, he's going to be able to lead them out of trouble. But the key is this. He's got to take care of the ball and still take enough chances. Can he find that balance? I believe he will, but you're right, Lionel. They cannot win if he's not playing well.
All right, Ryan, we talked about it last week right here on the show. The run game will lead to success in the passing game. Everybody knows that. But that means starter Melvin Gordon, who had a good final preseason game, he's going to have to get off to a fast start.
Well, and that helps Teddy Bridgewater too, Lionel, because now all of a sudden Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have to do too much. But Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, they have a big opportunity. They're going to go against Blake Martinez, a great middle linebacker on that defense for the Giants. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. But if they can get 2-3 yards a carry, that makes it 3rd and 6, 3rd and manageable, and really puts Teddy in his sweet spot to help this team succeed.
All right, the running backs, Melvin and Javonte, you mentioned them. Yes, excited about that. But the receivers now, a lot of people excited about Jerry Jeudy for a breakout year, second-year guy. KJ Hamler, same thing here. But Courtland Sutton kind of holds the key to this whole thing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's another player that can draw double coverage, and also for him to just make it through 4 quarters playing well. He did 2 quarters in the preseason, but can you put a full game together? I know after my injuries, playing a full game was huge for my confidence. It's going to be the same thing for Courtland Sutton, and when Courtland Sutton's confident, now this Broncos offense will be extremely confident.
All right, Troy, lots of national NFL experts and analysts and pundits, I love that word, pundit. They've got the Broncos as a top 5 defense on paper, right? Now, look, they just got to go play now. They got the highest paid secondary in the league, and Von Miller and Bradley Chubb healthy. Whoa! that wrecking crew could hold the key to getting off to a winning start.
Absolutely, because the Giants line has real issues. Daniel Jones is trying to save his job in New York, so they're going to get pressure. The key line is, are they going to get a strip sack? Are they going to get a type of sack that changes the game? I believe one or both of them have that opportunity here, and there's going to be a pick. Justin Simmons, I have him as their best defensive player again this year. I think you're going to see pressure from Vaughn and Chubb that leads to a key interception.
As an O-lineman, Ryan, seeing Von Miller and Bradley Chubb the week before the game, is that nightmares in your head?
Yeah, this is a much better office place than that, you know. But also Shelby Harris. I mean, Shelby Harris is going to factor in huge as well against that Giants offensive line. And I'll tell you something, these linebackers, it's going to be a great opportunity for Alexander Johnson to show the things that Vic Fangio wanted him to do better, be better in coverage, be a better and more consistent tackler. And if he can do those things, there really isn't a weak spot on this defense.
Well, Troy mentioned it, getting a turnover, getting a pick, Justin Simmons. But turnovers, yes, I mean, you create them and get some and you win. But the Broncos, Ryan, have found out the hard way lately that if you're on the wrong side of the turnover margin, it's not pretty.
Well, and Teddy Bridgewater, the way he plays, this defense knows they have to go out and score. So that makes it something that they put up on the board. They track these stats. They do things like turnover belts and chains like you see in college. But this is a defense that can get the football in a variety of different ways. Troy mentioned off the edge from Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, who, oh, by the way, had the first pick of camp this year. So you've got a lot of players, and we still haven't mentioned the rookie, Patrick Surtain. So there's a lot of areas in which this defense for the Broncos can get an interception, create that turnover, and not a lot of defenses in the NFL have that opportunity.
All right, thanks, guys. Look, every week, Denver 7 sports anchor Nick Rothschild will bring us the players' perspective, the personalities, the men behind the face mask. This week, it's linebacker Malik Reed, or Chef Reed in this case. The pandemic took Malik into the pantry. So here's what's cooking with Nick and Malik Reed.
Quarterbacks beware.
Let the big dog eat.
I'm throwing it back. Honey Smacks, Pops. You see, I'm a big cereal guy, so.
Up until recently, cereal was about the top end of Malik Reed's cooking prowess.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Some eggs, bacon, some toast maybe. I keep it real simple. Like I said, I wasn't a big cooker, so that was about the most I could do.
This past off-season, Reed's wife introduced him to the culinary arts.
She was the big cooker in the house, so I took on a lot of different challenges from, you know, banana bread to lasagna to so many different things, so it was cool to do.
The Reeds would alternate cooking each other meals, setting up little at-home date nights.
She turned our living room into like a spa. Like she had the candles, lit the candles, turned the lights down low. She gave me a foot rub, and I'm gonna keep it PG, but.
That's fine. And wouldn't you know it, when it came to cooking, Malik is a natural.
Any disasters in the kitchen?
No disasters, really. Like, I'm a stickler for, you know, following directions, you know, by the rules and stuff like that. So I really did pretty good with the lasagna for the first time. You know, my wife gave me props. Maybe she was a little biased, you know.
Exploring this new tasty terrain, Malik found himself siding with sweet over savory.
The banana bread, which is more of like a dessert, you know, type. I like banana bread, and, you know, every time somebody made it, I would, you know, grab 4 or 5 pieces, so.
But of course, practice makes perfect.
First time it was kind of like, you know, so-so. It was good, but it wasn't like up to par. So I feel like the more I did it, the more I was able to get it just right, how we liked it.
Keep your eyes peeled and your nose alert, Broncos country. This season, Chef Reed is serving up sacks and banana bread.
Still to come on Broncos Country Connected, Broncos CEO Joe Ellis was recently recognized with a prestigious Community Enrichment Award. Learn how he and the Denver Broncos Football Club continue to honor the legacy of Mr. Bolin by putting the Denver community first. back to Broncos Country Connected. The Denver Broncos have been one of the NFL's leaders in community involvement for decades. Since the beginning of the Bolin era, this team has always strived to be number one in everything, including our Colorado community. Broncos president and CEO Joe Ellis has taken this mission to heart in his 27 years with the club and was recently awarded the esteemed Mizel Institute 2021 Community Enrichment Award, joining Mr. Bolin and John Elway as the Broncos' third recipient. In a ceremony held at Empower Field at Mile High last week, Joe received the award in front of some of Denver's most prominent community leaders, who spoke to Joe's commitment to Denver and Colorado. From Peyton Manning and John Elway to several elected civil servants, there was one consistent message throughout. With thanks to Joe Ellis, some of the Broncos' most memorable plays have happened off the field. Here is what Joe has meant to a few of those who have worked the closest with him over the past decade.
The Denver Broncos are committed to improving lives in the community, and we focus on 5 key areas: youth development, quality of life, health and wellness, youth football, and civic engagement. And we work alongside key community partners in each of those focus areas to make a positive and measurable difference on our community. And none of that work would be possible without the leadership and direction and commitment of Joe Ellis himself.
Boys and Girls Clubs and the Broncos have been in partnership for nearly 2 decades. Joe served on our board of directors for nearly a decade and was truly an advisor and helped set the strategic direction for Boys and Girls Clubs. It was at a time when we had tremendous growth. Our geographic footprint and our operating budget had nearly doubled, and Joe really helped set the vision and tone so that we could serve as many kids as possible in the Denver community.
Habitat for Humanity of Metro Denver has been so honored, blessed, and have loved working with Joe Ellis and the Denver Broncos for so many years. Joe has personally helped host the CEO Build for us. This will be our 8th year, and during that time he has helped to inspire more than 160 executives from around the metro area to come out and to build alongside Joe and other wonderful leaders in our community.
You know, what makes Joe such a good leader and steward of the community is that he's simply ready to show up. You would never know the real important and powerful role that Joe plays with one of the more important assets we have in Colorado, our Denver Broncos, if no one told you, and certainly Joe's not going to tell you. He is simply a guy who shows up and wants to be helpful. He cares about Colorado, he cares about Denver. He is just a person who shows up, rolls up his sleeve, is a servant leader, willing to give and do what he can to make his community better. And to me, those are the best folks to be around.
Joe Ellis has been great. You know, you have other presidents and other CEOs that just throw money at stuff. But Joe Ellis has been there in person. He's been there in person since the very beginning, as far as I can remember. I've been here 11 years, and he's been visible. You know, he's always the first to step up and speak. He's always the first to step up and talk about things that happen in our community. And having a president like that it's been a true blessing. You know, I haven't been able to experience any other team. I can only talk about what Joe Ellis has been for us, and he's been a true leader for the Denver Broncos.
One of the things that makes Joe such a great leader is that from the top of the organization, he helped define the critical priorities for the Denver Broncos when it came to philanthropy and giving back to the community. And once he helped set those philanthropic goals, he lived them every day. And it wasn't just about giving time or giving financially, but really partnering with organizations to make lives better. And in our case of Boys and Girls Clubs, investing in young people and investing in families that need their Boys and Girls Clubs every day.
I think Joe did a tremendous job continuing to grow our community services and what we do. Mr. Bolin did a tremendous job with that, but I think Joe even took it to the next level. And I think during these tough times, the love for the Broncos continues to grow because of the involvement of the organization within the community. And he did that, and he did it with much success.
I think Joe has a deep understanding of the importance between the relationship with the Broncos and the community. He leads with humanity, he leads with humility, and he really understands how important it is to support the community, to listen to his players, to listen to others in his organization, and support the work that's being done. And I just think he understands that, going back all the way to Pat Bolin and the way the Broncos always did things. And he's just made, I think, the Broncos even more important in that community. And that's a tribute to Joe and the Broncos organization.
Well, that'll do it for this week's edition of Broncos Country Connected. Next week, a deep dive into Denver's Week 1 performance against the Giants. From all of us here with the Denver Broncos and Denver 7, thank you for watching.